Good afternoon, everyone. So let's start with the Sales Invoice Applet. Okay, so this is the Sales Invoice Applet. So you can see the left-hand side menu. The first one is a sales invoice. This one is a sales. We start with the sales invoice listing. Okay, so from search bar, you can search by the invoice, search by the customer, search by the branch, line item. Line item is to get the listing by item. Okay, the first one is get the listing by invoice number. Okay, then the next one is a pick pack queue. This pick pack queue is for the stock arrangement, sent to the pick pack queue and then sent to the delivery and installation applet. The next one is a sales invoice template. So this one is create a template for the recurring sales invoice. So you can create a template, then you can use the template to create a new sales transaction. The next function is file upload. File import, you can import the sales invoice through the Excel format. Okay, this is for the intercompany transaction record. And then you can export the sales invoice to the Excel. Okay. Then the setting part and the personalization. Okay. From the personalization, you can set your default branch and default location. And at the same time, you also can set your default delivery branch. And this is the default dongle by the user and default tab orientation by the user. So for this one, by default, is based on the setting is single or double. Okay, default is double. So if the user want to change to single, then this one you can change in your personalization part. And the tab orientation, you can set horizontal or vertical. So now by default is horizontal. Okay, then later I will show you the vertical format. I go back to the sales invoice menu. So from this sales invoice menu, right, you can see the listing. So the sales invoice short code is SLS and IB. So when you go to your journal voucher or you go to any doc link, if you see this SLS and IB, that means this is the internal sales invoice. And then every transaction, as you know, we have 3 code. One is the document number for the tenant. This is the global running number. And then we also assign the document number to the company and to the branch. Okay, so you can see your branch code for each of the transaction, the sales agent, the posting status. You can see the first status is a draft status. And then with the draft transaction, the company number and the branch number will be NAN. So that means system not yet generate any number for the branch and company. Once you final the transaction, system will give you the number for the company and branch. So you can see the draft and final. Okay. For the transaction already final, you need to do the cancellation. Then you go to void the transaction. For the draft transaction, if you want to cancel, you go to discard the document. Okay, and then the customer name, the total transaction amount. Okay, ARAPPNS is the line item amount. That means the transaction total amount. And ARAP settlement is a settlement for this document. Because in Big Ledger, every transaction, every document, we can have their own settlement. But if we use a settlement by the gen dot for the sales invoice, so the settlement number will be the same as the gen dot number. Okay, and then all the ARAP document open amount and the contra amount. So this contra amount, you can contra with the receipt voucher, contra with the sales credit note, sales debit note. So this is a contra amount and the APAR outstanding balance for the transaction. Okay. So the marketplace order number is referred to the marketplace number, like your Shopee or Lazada document number. Okay, because this one we can sync the transaction from the Lazada or Shopee through the sales order. So once the order is confirmed, then we convert to the sales invoice. Then that's why the marketplace number also you can see in the invoice. The updated date, the created date, and transaction date. Okay, so this document type we call internal sales invoice. Then the transaction created by who, modified by who, and the next one is the currency. Okay, so this is the column that you can view in the listing. So beside this information, you also can check in the columns here what's the information that is hidden. Okay, so let's say for example now a status is unticked, so that means you're not able to see the status. And then the client document 1, 2, 3 also unticked, you're not able to see from the list. So if your user, you want to see the additional information like client top 5, you can just take from the column here, then you're able to see one more information. Okay, so from the listing, from the column, you also can move the position. Let's say, for example, you want to move the customer account beside the branch code. So you can just move up. Okay, customer account beside the branch code. You can move the position of the column. Okay, and then when you click the transaction, you can see the detail of the data, the branch detail, e-invoice information, account is for the customer information. So customer account, you can see the bill to and ship to. Lines item, lines is for the product code. So this one is referred to your P&S transaction just now. The ARAP P&S information. Okay, so the total document number, total tax amount and total transaction amount for this document. So each of the line, you can see the detail of the item, the quantity, serial number, unit price. Okay, and then trace document, you can see the journal posting, cash flow related information posting, and the point transaction, tax transaction, invoice transaction. Contra, you can see this document, is it with any contra? So if you have any open amount for this transaction, you can just click the plus button to contra. Then the dot link, is it this transaction is from sales order or from which document? And if you knock off to the sales, let's say for example, sales delivery order, so you can see the dot link to. Okay, so dot link from and to. So this is for the knockoff document. And you can export to different printable format. Attachment, you can just add any attachment to this document. Okay, so at the moment, you only can see this few tabs. So if you want to view more information, you can refer to the setting, what other tab that we have. Okay, this is for the listing part. So the dongle just now I mentioned to is referred to this one. So when you click the transaction, you can you're able to see in 2 pages. Okay, so if change to 1, then only 1 full page. So how to check the second page? You click this one, the small menu here. Then you can see the second menu in full page. So this one you can change in your personalization. Okay, so this is for the listing checking. So now I go to create a new transaction. So to create a new sales invoice, click plus button. And then from here, you need to fill in the main detail. So main detail, you can see this is the document number is in gray. You're not able to click anything. Okay, so the default branch is follow the personalization setting. Default branch, default delivery branch, and default delivery location. So the sales agent, you can change any sales agent, or you can set the sales agent under the customer account. Once you selected the customer account, the sales agent is auto-populated based on the customer. And then this transaction date always is the latest date, current date. So if you want to change, then you just click the date to change. If you're not able to click, that means you have no permission to change the date. Okay, by default, the user cannot change. So you need to assign a client-side permission to allow user to change the transaction date. Okay, credit terms and credit limit is follow the customer account. Then any additional reference remark you can just key into these two field. Okay, currency base is MYR. So if you have any overseas customer that in different currency, you can change your currency. I go to account. So this is the place that you select the customer information. So you can refer to the tab over here. So now it's in ship to. So by right, you need to go to the entity to select the entity ID. Okay, so from here, I create the entity ID. Then I go to search one of the customer. Okay, so this customer information is follow from the customer maintenance. And then you can select any bill to address, ship to address. Okay, if not, it's followed by the default address. Then we go to line. So line is to add a new item. Then you just go to click plus button to search for the item. Okay, so we provide you the information, the branch, okay, and then this item code, item name, sales agent. So just agent is followed by the customer account just now, and you can change to the item sales agent so that your sales report is based on the item salesman, sales agent over here. Okay, UOM. So you can select the UOM, then followed by the pricing scheme. E-invoice UOM, this is for the default information that we set under the item maintenance. Your quantity base, how many quantity that you want to sell to your customer, and then the unit price. Okay, if you want to change the unit price, you just update this field, and then transaction amount. The remarks for the item, so you can key in additional remarks to this item code. Okay, so I go to click add first. Okay, so this is to add a new item. And when you click the item, you can change the information, or you can just key in additional data. So for example, you want to give more discount. So you can go to multi-discount. So this one is a multi-level discount. You can add by percentage, add by amount. Okay. And then dot link just for the information. Okay, costing tab also by the permission, so the user can see or not able to see the costing. Then click save to update the data. To add a new transaction, you can just click add again. Then I try to add another serial number, serialized item. So for the serialized item, you need to key in the serial number. Then you need to select from the drop-down list the serial number. So for example, this one, I think no stock for this item. That's why you're not able to select any serial number. Okay, so the quantity is based on the serial number. So if you don't want to add, you just undo. Okay, I just go back. Okay, so now I add one item. After you selected the item, let me see which one is missing. Okay, so once you fill in all the data, you should be able to check, see this final button, because system added the transaction to the draft mode. Then you can save the transaction, or you can directly final the document. Okay, so let me final the transaction. So you can see the new transaction created. So this is a document number 100155. Okay, so when you click this information, you can view the detail. Okay, so from here, you're not able to change the data except for the remarks or salesman. Then I go back, change to the two dongle. Okay, so I click plus button again. So to create a new transaction. Okay, so I show you another method is KO, the knockoff method. So for the knockoff for, so this knockoff for you can control with the sales document. So one moment. If you cannot see the information, right, that means something wrong with your setting. So let me change to another branch. Okay, before I go to sales invoice, I go to create a new sales order first. Okay, so this is my new sales order 1,854. Then I go to sales invoice. Let me change my default branch over here. Okay, I skipped the knockoff part. So for this part, right, just now to create a new sales invoice, then just now the information is in horizontal method. This one is in horizontal. Then I go to change to the vertical. You can go to setting, application setting, and then vertical UI setting, enable the vertical part, then save. Then you go to sales invoice. When you click plus, right, the menu is changed to vertical like this. Okay, so this is the main detail, and e-invoice tab, account tab, line tab, KO4. Okay, so KO4. In this KO4, you can get the information from the sales order. And then just now I created the sales order 1,854, right? So when you go to sales invoice, I want to knock off the sales order. That means you link the sales order to the sales invoice. Then you just take this one and then click knock off. So once you knock off, the information will go to fill into the main detail. You can see the agent, the branch, and delivery branch, and then account, just now the customer information, then bill to, ship to. Okay, so the account part. Then for the line item, so if you can see we added the 2 items from the sales order. So one of the item with the serial number. Okay, so with the serial number, you need to click the item to add the serial number. Okay, so this part you can add the serial number. So once you add in the serial number, the quantity followed by the serial number, and then this one, the branch you no need to enter. Okay, and then you just save the item. So you can see this serial number selected, and then the price is followed by the sales order price just now. Okay, so you can just save the transaction to final later on, or you can directly click the final button to update the the transaction. Okay, so when you click here, you can see the more information. Let's say, for example, the top link. So the top link, you can see this is from the sales order, and why is 2 line? Because it's followed by the item. okay, and to no data, because we knock off from the sales order. So you can see the information is under the form. So the shortcode SLSODR is referred to internal sales order. Okay, this is the server document type internal sales order. So it's from this branch. Okay, so if you want to confirm, then you can just directly click the final button. Okay, so this one is finalized. Then you can see the trace document, the posting part. Okay, so trace document for the posting part. And then if you want to contra with receipt voucher, you can create this contra to contra the receipt voucher. So the contra, you can just click the plus button to select any outstanding document from the same customer. Okay, so this is the vertical version. If I change back to the horizontal, then you can see the data from the horizontal. Okay. This one, right, the highlighted column, this is for the shadow document for the Forex transaction. So because all the Forex transaction two document number, one is for the shadow document, that one is in Ringgit Malaysia, the base currency. And then you can just click few document to do the multiple printing. Okay, in the line item here, so you can view the listing by the item code. Okay, then this part you can just do the sorting by the item code. So refer to this setting part, right? So only admin user can see the setting menu. Okay, from the setting you can check all the tab information. So for example, in the Gen.listing, listing, you want to hide certain menu, certain part, you can just hide the information, hide the data. And then this, when you hide for the applet, you can open it back to the user through the client-side permission. Okay, the Gen.field, which information that you want to hide. Okay, so you want to auto print out the information, auto print out the invoice, so you can enable the auto pop up. Okay, so just now the vertical version. So the vertical version you can just enable from here, and which field, which sub menu that you want to expand, and then for the tab over here. So like for example, you want to hide the department header. So this one, the dongle already hide. Then if you want to open, then you just change back. Okay, so just now, let me see. So this settlement for the sales invoice, this one is high. So if you want to do any settlement, so for the sales invoice, you can go to receipt voucher to create a new receipt voucher. Okay, so this is the application setting. Default selection, you can set the applet default branch. For the user, is go to the personalization to set the default branch. Okay, and then you can preset the printable format. So you can add the multiple different format from here, and then you can set one of the default format. So email template to configure any email template over here. Then when you want to send the invoice to the customer, you can use one of the template. Okay, permission wizard part. So this is the permission template that we have in this applet. Then usually from the permission wizard for the sales internal sales invoice applet, we use create internal sales invoice by branch. Okay, or the delivery branch. So usually we use these two permission template. Then from here, you can generate the permission set based on this target. Okay, so you can just select all branch and generate the permission set. So after you generate the permission set, you can go to role permission, assign the permission to the role. Okay, so this is the permission set that we generated from the permission wizard. So now, okay, then we go to role permission. You can select one of the role to assign for the permission. So for example, just now the 22 3K branch. So here I have one, this branch cashier. So in this branch cashier, I can check who is the user assigned to this role. And then you can go to permission set to check the permission that we assign to this role. So this permission, this role can view the sales invoice branch and then can view the sales invoice delivery branch. Okay, so it's by default is EDA 23 TK. So the delivery branch is referred to EDA branch. Okay, so every permission, right? We need to add a common permission. Okay. So this common permission created from the permission set. Okay, then I go to client side permission. So client side permission, when you click plus button, is go to select the permission from the drop down. So for example, the user allowed to change the transaction date. So this one you can just search any keyword for the transaction date. Okay, so show transaction date, that means the user can view the transaction date. Then the user allowed to sell below cost, sell below replacement price. So this one is under client side permission. So you can assign the pricing scheme to the role as well. Okay, usually the pricing scheme is by branch. Okay, you can assign to the role. Okay, so this one is a copy function, copy the permission from this role to another role. Okay, so this is the copy function. So for the role permission, usually we just add the user to the role and assign the permission set, and then update the client side permission to the role. Okay. So just now I go back to the permission set. So every applet that you need to add one common permission. So you go to plus button, then you give the name common. Usually we use a applet name followed by the common, and then the permission template you choose for the common. Then configure permission target, you just click and then just go back. Then you can just update the status active and you just save this one. Okay, so but you're not allowed to add the duplicate permission based on the name. Same name system will blocking, will check the duplication. Others information like the release note of the applet and then the audit trail for the transaction is from these two menu. Okay, so only admin user can set the application setting and the permission part. Okay, so I think that's all for the internal sales applet. So far, any question? Okay, so if no question, you can try to test the create a sales invoice. Then if any question, additional question, you can just let us know. Okay, thank you.